Good afternoon, families. Welcome to my phonemic awareness video. Today we're going to talk about Elkonin boxes and how they can be used to teach students how to separate the sounds in words. An Elkonin box looks like this. It's just a large rectangle, and each square inside the rectangle will represent one sound that you hear in a word. I'm starting with 3 sound Elkonin boxes here, but initially you may start with 2 boxes and move on to 4 and 5 box sound boxes, and I'll do some of those in another video. I'll also upload a hard copy of this along with the video, but this is something you can easily draw on any available piece of paper you have at home. One of the problems that kindergarten students and first grade students have is that they're not hearing the sounds in words when they're reading and writing. And an activity like this will really help kids to train them to hear all of the sounds that they hear in words. And it'll also teach them that sometimes a sound is represented by more than one letter, which I'll show you in the exercise. Let's take a look. Just bring you down here. So the way that we do this is we put a counter or marble, or in this case, pennies. I wanted to use something that you may have at home. And each one of these starts off at the top. And what you would do is give your children a consonant, vowel, consonant word. We call those CVC words. And they will bring the penny down into the box for each sound that they hear. So for example, if you say to your child, let's bring down the sounds for the word bat. So they have to say the word bat and bring down each sound individually. So for example, what you want to hear is b, a, t, bat. What will happen sometimes, because I have done this with many of your children, when you ask them to bring down the sound, they'll tell you the letter. And that's not what we want right now. Since we're doing phonological awareness, we're not attaching the sounds to print right now. We're just separating sounds. So if you hear a child say B-A-T, you want to correct that. You're not looking for the names of the letters now. You're looking for the sounds. So once again, B-A-T, bat. You'll get the child to say the word again. After they have said the word, what you can do, and you don't have to, but you can do this, underneath you'll have them write the letter that represents each sound. So you want to do this very methodically with students. Okay, what is the first sound that we hear? B. What is the letter that represents that sound? And then they can write it in. B. What is the second sound that you hear? A. What is the letter that represents that sound? A. And what is the final sound you hear? T. And what is the letter that represents that sound? T. What's the word? Bat. Okay? Let's try that again. I'll bring the pennies up. We'll wipe this off. And the next word I'd like you to make is the word net. For each sound in the word net, I want you to bring 1 penny down. Let's do that together. Net. N. E-T, net. Let's try it again. What are the sounds in the word net? N-E-T, net. All right, let's think about those sounds and the letters that go along with them. So the first sound in net was N. What is the letter that represents that sound? N. Now the second letter, E. What is the letter that represents that sound? E. It's got to be one of the vowels. N, E. And the final sound, net. The final sound in the word net is T. What is the letter that represents that sound? T. Okay, parents, I'm going to provide a list of words that you can use along with the Elkonin Box board so that you can take your children through this routine. I can also include some 2-phoneme words and some 4-phoneme words that you can do with your kids. I should say, which I forgot, a phoneme is a sound. Every word in the English language can be broken down into separate sounds, or phonemes as we call them. And as students learn more phonemes, they will learn that you may have 2 letters that represent a phoneme. That's why we don't stress writing the letters in the boxes at the beginning, because we're focusing on the sounds. I can show you an example of a word that has 4 letters but only 3 phonemes. Let's take a look. Okay. Let's think about the word play. What are the sounds in the word play? Well, the first sound would be P. P. The second sound, and we really want to stretch this word out so people can hear this second sound, play. So think about that. When you're doing the word with your child, have them watch your mouth as you say the word, because the articulation may help them to figure out the sound. So you really want to stretch that out. The word is play. Okay, so let's go back down to the mat. The second sound is and the final sound, A, play. So, as adults, we know that that final sound is made with a long A, represented by an AY. But when you say the word play, you're really only saying 3 phonemes, 3 sounds. You're saying the P, A. Many of your children may not know that that A sound at the end is being made with 2 letters. And that's not important right now in kindergarten. What you do want them to do is be able to hear the main sounds that are in that word. And if they are writing a story where they go out to play, you want them to be able to write down. We also call that encode. We want them to be able to write down the P, the L, the A, because when they write it down that way, it becomes readable to the audience. So if we go back to our mat, the first sound in play is P, represented by a P. The second sound in play is L, represented by the L. And the final sound, play, A, is represented by the A. Now, at this point, you do not have to tell students that that long A is with an AY. You can give it to them. It's not something that they will have learned until maybe the end of 1st grade. But if a child in kindergarten writes play as PLA, that's actually very developmentally appropriate. So using Elkonin boxes at least for 5 minutes a day will really help kids blend and segment words, which especially in kindergarten is a major skill that they need to know in order to be able to read and write. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.